Welcome to Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
All news, all the time. You're tuned to AM 1410, KQV Pittsburgh, and worldwide at KQV.com. Give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
I'm Paul Guggenheimer, Bethany Emanuel at the editor's desk. It's 5 p.m.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. About 200 million Americans are getting ready to say so long to 2017 through chattering teeth.
Pittsburgh's all-news station since 1975. This is KQV News Radio AM 1410 and worldwide at KQV.com, where the News Watch never stops.
KQV News Time is 5:05. Good afternoon. I'm Alexandria Chiklos. And this is 1410 KQV Radio News. Glad to have you with us, and thanks for listening for all these years. If you don't know now, the news department will be shutting down. The all-news format is going away. The station will be closing down effective midnight Sunday. So 2018, you will not hear what you have listened to many years, KQV 1410, our all-news format. Yesterday was P.J. Maloney's last day on the air. Today is Elaine Effort's, as well as mine, and we thank you very much for listening. Yesterday, P.J. had an opportunity to talk with Eleanor Shana, who used to work here at KQV, and it's interesting because she played a role in the all-news format continuing on KQV all these years, more than 40 years. We'll be replaying that discussion, that chat that PJ had with Eleanor Shano and Elaine Effort coming up after the 6 o'clock hour on KQV. We wanted you to hear some of the history about KQV, as well as continue to say thank you for listening. We appreciate the opportunity to serve our listeners with news and information, sometimes sad, sometimes happy. But we're here to continue the News Watch, and we will do that until the close of business today. KQV News Time, 5:26. We'll check the latest numbers in our listener poll next.
For action.
What's that door?
Suspense.
Get up on your feet. Get up. Shoot it out. No.
Thrill. Chills.
Turn your face, darling. Please turn your face.
And drama.
Now there's another train coming the other way.
No, you can't.
It's the WON Nostalgia Theater. Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on historic KQV 1410 AM and online at KQV.com.
I was about ready to head out of the door.
You have another newscast.
Yeah, I got another newscast.
Young lady.
The temperature in downtown Pittsburgh, 19 degrees. It's cloudy out there. I'm Alexandria Chiklos.
Can I push this button now?
Yes, Bethany Emanuel is at the editor's desk.
Yes, she is.
And now the News Watch continues with Paul Guggenheim.
All right. Thank you, Alexandria. One more handoff after this as we count down. I promised myself I wouldn't do this, but I'm counting down everything now. Speaking of counting down, I have 25 seconds to tell you that Elaine Effort will be with us to talk about legislation that some claim will outlaw circuses in Pittsburgh, signed into law by the mayor.
What isn't clear when you read the legislation is how this will be enforced.
And that's the kind of insight we've come to expect from Elaine Effort, the Dean of Reporters here at KQV. This is our last time together, Elaine, and I have not been here for a very long time, but in the time that I have been here, I've really enjoyed working with you. Thank you for showing me, setting such a good example for me, putting me in my place when I needed it, even though I'm such a perfect angel all the time. And
you've been a nice addition to KQV, with your voice and your inquisitive nature and always wanting to find a little bit more. Well, what else is it to this story? Because as you and I both know, there's always more than one side, two sides, three sides. There's a lot to, and the dynamics, that's where the meat is, why things are the way they are and who has the ability to change them and when might that happen. So we have been fortunate to work together, and I appreciate what you brought to the table.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. Thank you so much for being here on so many occasions I don't think there's anybody in this city who has covered more news, certainly not at this station, and I would dare say at any other radio or television station in this city. I don't think there's anybody who has covered as many stories for as many years as well as Elaine Effort has. It's been my honor to work with you. I'm sure our listeners are going to miss you. Thank you for every little thing.
And I'm going to miss this work. But it's time to move on to another chapter, another journey, and I look forward to it. But I have no complaint, no regret. This has been a wonderful ride.
And this is kind of like when the Beatles did Abbey Road. That was their last recorded album. But another album came out after that that had been recorded previously, but it was the last release. So we still have another release from Elaine Effort. We have an excerpt of a conversation between she and Eleanor Shano and PJ Maloney, which Alex is going to play. Alexandria Chaklos is going to play in her half hour after 6 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, we get to hear Elaine Effort with Mayor Peduto.
Airing tonight, Pittsburgh Profiles at 7:30, and then again tomorrow at 7 a.m., and then on Sunday at 2 p.m. So I'm not going quietly.
So we get to hear more of Elaine all weekend here on KQV before we sign off. But this is the last live appearance.
That's right. And I've been doing that too. Oh, this is my last visit to City Council chambers. This is my last visit to the mayor's office. And I thought, I've got to stop that because you don't know what the last is. We don't know what's going to happen, what other doors may open, what other opportunities. So let's stop doing that and just enjoy the moment and be grateful for what we had here.
I am. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, Paul.
KQV's Elaine Effort. KQV News Time is 5:39.
KQV News Time is 6:10. The KQV newsroom is moved by all the tributes and well wishes our listeners are sharing with us as we prepare to cease operations Sunday night. Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto among them, sharing his thoughts about KQV going dark.
So I don't remember a time that KQV wasn't around. It's kind of hard for me to understand what it's going to be like without it there.
Mayor Peduto can be heard on tonight's Pittsburgh Profiles with KQV reporter Elaine Effort. Tune in at 7:30 tonight. And coming up later in this half hour, we'll be rebroadcasting a conversation that PJ Maloney had with Elaine Effort, as well as Eleanor Shano, who used to work for KQV. And it's a little bit of our history. Eleanor Shano's efforts to try to keep the all-news format going when it was in doubt, and that in the next probably 10 minutes or so on KQV, we'll have that for you, that replay of that conversation from yesterday. Well, the KQV News Department is closing down after more than 40 years. The two veteran news anchors with the station, PJ Maloney and Elaine Effort. And yesterday was PJ Maloney's last day on the air. Today is Elaine Effort's. PJ talked with Eleanor Shano, who also worked at the station for many years and was instrumental in keeping the all-news format going. This is a rebroadcast of their conversation from yesterday.
Well, you were on the air first in when? 1949, was it?
No.
1950?
You lie, baby. 1952. How about that?
Okay, 1952.
Yeah, guess what? In the same building where we worked at KQV, Chamber of Commerce, WDTV. Then it became KDKA, and the rest is history, and I've been around ever since.
And you've worked at KDKA, you've worked at WTAE-TV, at WIIC-TV, you've worked at WQED-TV, at WQEX-TV.
It's very hard to hit a moving object.
Exactly. And but Eleanor came to KQV in 1982 in a very auspicious manner. In fact, it was your presence, Eleanor, that saved KQV, because at the time Taft Broadcasting owned it, and wanted to get rid of the format and sell the station. So those of us who were in the all-news business at the time at KQV thought, oh, that's it. We're done. We're out of a job. We have to go look elsewhere. But tell us what happened.
Well, I was working, anchoring the news in Palm Beach at the time. I got a phone call from my dear friend Bob Dickey, and he said, I'm going to be out of a job. Taft is going to sell the station. I said, Bob, wait a minute. You have to find somebody with very deep pockets in Pittsburgh. So I thought, really, not very long. I said, hey, we've got to get in touch with Dick Scaife. And we did. Arranged a meeting at the Duquesne Club with Bob and Dick Scaife, and Bob became a minor partner, and Dick Scaife bought the station, and we kept All News Radio on the air, and that was the beginning. And this is the end, and it's such a loss for our region, but the fact is, All News Radio, it's such an expensive, labor-intensive format that I just wonder if it will ever be again. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure it will exist, but not in the format that we have now with AM radio. Maybe it might last on FM. But really, with the satellite radio services that are available right now, and what's happening on television with cable,
right.
That's really where it's at right now, is on the internet, on satellite, and on cable.
It's very difficult for me to talk because this is like, I feel like it's the death of a loved one. I mean, It cannot go away. You are going to say goodbye. How do you feel? Tell me.
I feel awful, but here's what it is, Eleanor. On the one hand, I'm looking forward to retirement. I have a pension and Social Security and some money set aside, so I'm okay right now, and I'm going to go into retirement. You know how it is, Eleanor. You spent 42 years getting up almost every morning, going to work, and really almost always having a lot of fun. Strange things happen. When Bob Dickey was here, we'd have big fights, and then we'd, make up the next day, and you know how that, you remember.
Yeah, and Bob Dickey, this is his dream. He made it happen. He brought this format from, WINS in New York?
Right.
And he made it happen. It was his child. He loved it. And his son, Bob Dickey Jr., tried as hard as he could to keep it going, but it wasn't meant to be.
No. And Elaine Effort is in the studio with me right now. And Elaine has been here at KQV since, was it 1973?
Before it was All News.
Yeah.
It was a music station.
Oh, my, another beautiful colleague. And I'm going to miss your voice. And how do you feel this morning, Elaine?
Well, yes, sad, disappointed. But it's my faith tradition to be grateful and thankful always and everywhere. So just what we had for this long, many cities had all news radio station formats back in the 70s when we also converted from music to all news, but they couldn't keep it going. We had, our ace in the hole was Robert W. Dickey Sr., and he kept it going for, look how long this has been, over 4 decades. And we have covered the best of Pittsburgh, the worst, the best in people, the worst in people. So the work has been its own reward. So I have no regrets, no complaints, but yeah, a little sad
and Elaine,
about the loss of the service.
You were out in the trenches every day. You are the one that made All News happen. You were the one out there, the reporter that, are you going to miss City Hall?
I just came back from there, and I will, because you never knew what was going to happen. You saw the agenda, but it didn't really mean that's what was going to happen. And, and it's interesting. It's history in the making.
Eleanor,
and we're giving the first view of it, the first version of history. So, yeah, I'm going to miss that.
Eleanor, let me tell you a real quick story. She was down at City Hall today, and City Council honored, not KQV,
Elaine.
not KQV. They honored Elaine Effort. So it's Elaine Effort Day, officially, here in the city of Pittsburgh today. She got the proclamation this morning. She has it in her grubby mitts right now. So congratulations to Elaine Effort, who was honored by Pittsburgh City Council today with a ceremony down in City Council chambers.
So well-deserved. Congratulations.
They said some of the nicest things about me that I've ever, and I thought, boy, who knew? Who knew they thought that way? So it was very nice. We had some young people in my family there, and they said, well, do you get a key to the city? No, but it's all the well wishes were really appreciated.
And that's a rebroadcast of a conversation that P.J. Maloney had yesterday with Eleanor Shano and Elaine Effort, talking about the end of news programming here at KQV. We're glad to have the honor to present the news over the years. I've only been here for 5 years. Elaine and PJ, they've been here for more than 30 and 40 years, so they've spent a lot of time covering the news in and around the city, bringing you the information, and it's been a long ride for them, and I know it's very sad, but they do it with joy in their heart because they were able to fulfill their dreams in working in broadcast news. And we hope that you can continue to find the news that you need to know. But right here at KQV, the News Watch will continue in the next half hour with KQV's Paul Guggenheimer. So stay right here with 1410 KQV.